Okay, hi everyone. So welcome back to your 20 minutes of preparation. I will call each of you to present your speech about 7 minutes.
Okay, I start my speech now. Can I start my speech now?
Wait. Okay, you can start your speech now.
Okay. Hello, everyone. In today's education, the measure of a student's worth is reduced to a few hours in an exam hall. We, the affirmative team, believe believe that this is outdated, inequitable, and ineffective. This is why, as the proposition, we stand for the motion. Schools should replace exams with projects. By replace, we mean that final grades will be based on project than a written test. Project can be individual based or group based, and it is assessed with clear rubrics rather than written tests. So our team line is simple. Projects assess real skills better, promote deeper learning, and reduce harmful stress. So let me introduce my team. I am the first speaker of the affirmative team, Lucas. I I am going to discuss 3 points: how projects are a fairer and more accurate measure of learning, and how it builds essential skills for real life. The second speaker of our team, Alyssa, will discuss how its projects can reduce mental stress and is a great contribute to improve education quality. The third speaker of our team, Banana, will rebut and sum up our team cases. So let's go to my first point. My first point, uh, projects test research. Exams only test how you memorize, while projects test research, application, and synthesis, skills that often use in real life. So it assess closer to a student's success than written exams. In Finland, it is proven that projects are better than exams. Moreover, projects allow students with different strengths,
Theo,
like creativity and analytical particle to shine.
so can I ask that uh, how how many of you think students today can finish a big project with Google, ChatGPT, or help from someone else?
Well, well, it's true that they can take the parents' help, but it's not true that they can it assesses creativity than more than you just memory something. Also, it's easier to cheat in projects. It's better to just memorize everything you know and then apply it in the test. Okay, so my my second point is that it builds essential life skills, and that exams don't teach you to collaborate, manage time over weeks, or interrogate multiple sources of information. Projects do. In workplaces, no one asks you to write an essay in silence for 2 hours. They expect you to research, draft, edit, and present. Schools should prepare students for that reality. A 2018 research by Harvard shows that Students that often new projects can have a better in university have a better chance to thrive in their workplace later on. Well, oh, they might the negative team might say that projects allow cheating, but plagiarism detection tools, oral defenses, and ongoing checkpoints make cheating far harder than cramming from leaked exam papers. In fact, Singapore integrated program uses project work successfully at scale. And also, I don't think that and also there are many schools have applied tools that can detect whatever a script is written by AI or not. So so it is very hard to cheat. So the so exams measure memory and projects measure mastery. They prepare us for the real world, support diverse talents, and give true picture of learning. A study in Cambridge still showed that 70% students that have projects can easily collaborate in their workplace with other people later on. For these reasons, we are proud to believe that schools should replace exams with projects. Thank you for listening.
Thank you for your speech. Now 1 minute for the next speaker to appear. Okay, now the next speaker.
Okay, so my speech will start in 3, 2, 1. Imagine a bridge built by an engineer who never had to pass a single religious test, only did creative projects. Would you feel safe driving across? Exams are not perfect, but they remain the most reliable way to measure knowledge, fairness, and readiness for the real world. Good morning, esteemed auditor, and a pleasant greeting to the opposing team. My name is Kevin, and I'm the first speaker of the negative team for the motion. This house would replace the exams with projects in schools. So now, here are our key stakeholders. Firstly, students. They are the one who need fair, consistent, and recognized assessments. Secondly, teachers and schools, who must measure learning efficiently and accurately. And thirdly, universities and employers, who rely on standardized results to select candidates. So it means if the candidates don't have the requirements, or maybe they don't have good enough certificates, if the universities or employers sign them, they would have a big loss. Now, here's our team's line. We believe that exams remain essential because they ensure fairness, accuracy, and accountability in education. So, as a first speaker, my role today is to frame the debate and also make some rebuttals to the other team. Also, I will provide some of our first three arguments. Then, followed by our second speaker who will provide some other rebuttals and expand my ideas. And lastly, our third speaker will summarize all of the arguments and then provide some of the remaining arguments to the other team. Now, here's our rebuttals. The proposition says that exams only test memory, but that's simply wrong. Modern exams test analysis, application, and problem solving, not just recall. And even if memory is involved, it's a real world skill doctors, pilots, and lawyers rely on. There also claims that exams cause stress, but stress is a part of life, and learning to manage it is important. The answer is to improve exam design, but not abolish them. Finally, they argue that projects maybe they don't like it will be a very hard chance for them to cheat. Maybe you have the schools that have very high technology, in order the students have no chance to cheat at all. However, as you can see, a lot of schools in the mountainous areas where they don't have high technology. So if they don't have that, the students can all cheat. So that means they can get very high certificates and then get signed very easily. It's not simply fair. So now, here are our first three arguments. Firstly, fairness and standardization. So exams place every student under the exact same conditions, the same questions, the same time limit, and the same marking scheme. This creates a genuine basis for comparison. Projects, by contrast, vary hugely in difficulty and outcome. A student in a well-equipped home with supportive parents has far more resources than a student in a crowded apartment with no internet, or maybe it's too noisy for them to study. Even the best teachers cannot fully eliminate these inequalities. So while exams can be stressful, they are at least a controlled environment where all students face the same challenge. They can be fair. Projects reflect resources assessed as much as ability, making them inherently...
Can I have a point of information?
Okay.
Well, equal conditions do not mean equal opportunities. Students with anxieties, lower processing speed, or different learning styles are disadvantaged in rigid exam settings.
Okay. So now, as you have mentioned that if like it is not that if the same technology will have the same kinds of experiences that the students can face. However, I still think that even though each student has a different learning style, they still need to follow the school. Because if everyone has a different studying style, it means the school can maybe have to maybe make sure each student follows their style. It will take up a lot of time. Now, let me continue my arguments. Secondly, academic honesty and credibility. In projects, it's difficult to ensure that the work is truly the student's own. Parents, tutors, older siblings, or AI tools can easily contribute significant parts of the final products. So this is especially tempting when projects carry high stakes, such as determining graduation or university admission. So exams largely avoid this problem because they are taken under supervision in real time without outside help. This makes them a more direct and authentic measure of what the students know and can do independently without anyone helping. So without exams, words may lose credibility in the eyes of universities and employers, leading to qualifications that no longer reflect true student ability. And lastly, testing essential knowledge and discipline. Many careers demand the ability to recall accurate information and solve problems under pressure. For example, a doctor making a life or death decision in the emergency room, a pilot troubleshooting mid-flight, or maybe a lawyer crafting an instant response in court. So if they made very minor mistakes, they can also make a lot of disadvantages to a lot of people. So these skills developed through exams, focus, time management, and clear thinking under stress. Projects build creativity and collaboration, but they can't guarantee the mastery of every part of the curriculum. A student might build a beautiful science model without understanding the key principles behind it. So, without exams, we risk producing graduates with gaps in essential knowledge, and which can have serious consequences in higher education and the workplace. So, in conclusion, exams are the backbones of fairness, integrity, and credible assessment. Replacing them entirely with projects would widen inequality, encourage dishonesty, and risk producing graduates who lack essential skills. That's why opposition firmly rejects this motion. Thank you for listening.
Okay, thank you for speech. Now, 1 minute for the next speaker to appear.
So can I start my speech now?
Yep.
My speech will start in 3, 2, 1. Have you ever walked out of an exam and feeling like your brain has run a marathon, then woke up the next day without anything supposed in your brain? If that's what they call learning and testing, we have gone definitely all wrong with the way. So exams have become a ritual of stress, memorization, and last-minute cramming. Students have phases of stress every day, nearly all their life, with stress in the school years. For example, like the teacher just pop up with a 15-minute test. Students just like open their book fastly, then they cram all the learning a lesson into the mind if they can. That is totally wrong. So here are the reason why I disagree with I agree with the motion. Projects are better than exams. First of all, in the real world skill development, world now they don't need learning. They say that social skills, working management, and tongue and speaking skills are better, because if you only give an academic achievement to a company without knowing do anything at all, they won't know. Project mirror a real life that is in my career. Success depends on collaboration, problem solving, not just academic performances. We need to do presentation at companies at our work, right? If you just use academic achievement, you won't know to do anything. Secondly, is critical thinking over rote of learning. Project encourage
information, please.
Yes.
So as you said that many kinds of employers nowadays, they really need the social skills, and also they need speaking skills or maybe communication. However, do you see that if the employers, like for example, they need to apply to be a builder or worker or maybe a doctor, they really need the true skills and the knowledge, not only the communication skills. So what is your real point here?
Well, if you apply it for doctors and other places, of course, they need knowledge, because treating people and saving people lives is not a joke. But they need to have practical skills too. If they don't do it, they won't know anything. For example, you go to the surgery with a doctor that only have knowledge without trying. Do you feel really comfortable and really certainly that this doctor can treat you all right? That is my point here. Secondly, if exam is increasing stress and anxiety, I really don't want it to do this, because timed highly staked tests often trigger anxiety, which can hinder performances and mental health. Due to a study, a 60% of students has severely throughout the exam worriness and test. Thirdly, is the inclusive and fair assessment. Many people might say that projects are easier to teach, but if it's authorized or teacher monitor it carefully, like timing, or maybe work with parents, or maybe have someone to look after or look over it, it won't have because, well, AI and other robotics humanization is all over the internet nowadays. And so, well, it's so hard to find out which is written by human and which is written by hand. Well, actually, AI, if you adapt it to written text, it could be easily outstanding. For example, like the teacher in the COVID-19, which is haven't developed it AI yet, but if it is, student can easily cheat because it is on online and written paper with face monitoring, not realistic monitoring. So that will be easily cheated. Project monitoring and with parents or maybe someone guarded beside you could efficiently raise the certainty in teacher. Fourthly, it encourages and collaboration and communication. Group projects build teamwork and peer of learning is powerful. Students learn to delegate, communicate, and resolve conflict of their own. It's such a nice skill that is for learning. Explain the concept to others, reinforce understanding, and build confidence. If you ever put into a teamwork together without knowing anything to work, would that team will be strong? Will that team will be winning on the contest? No, of course not. I'm not talking here that academic achievement is not important. Testing is, of course, is really important, but we have overlooked the importance of collaboration, teamwork, and creativity in students. We have to hope that students will bring out brighter future for us, not like using academic achievement to apply to every job that we just consider like we need just only learning. That is my speech. Thank you for listening, and I yield my case here.
Thank you for your great speech. Now 1 minute for next speaker. 5 phút. And speaker of negative.
Okay, so my speech will start in 3, 2, 1. So, good morning, esteemed educators, and a pleasant greeting to the opportunity teams. My name is Charlotte, and I'm second speaker of the negative team for today's motions. This house will replace exams with projects in school. So, before I present my own arguments, my primary role is to first deal with the core points raised by the opposition. The first speaker of the affirmative team claimed that projects encourage a deeper understanding and application of knowledge, which exams fail to do. This is an seductive but ultimately flawed argument. It fundamentally will misunderstand the purpose of exams. Exams are not about rote memorizations, they are critical tools for exciting upward range of knowledge effectivities and fairly. While a single intensive project might allow for a deeper dive into one topic, this is simply not a comprehensive tool for revitalizing a student's gaps, often entirely stifled. Exams are extensibilities for ensuring students have a foundation of understanding across all subjects, which is vital for building future knowledge and skill. Without this foundation, students may be well developed into a single narrow expertise, but lack of the work base. Education is necessary to adapt and thrive in
Can I have a point of information?
yes, please.
Okay, so United Team said that projects cannot give you the knowledge for jobs that you do later on, but research has shown that in project doing you have to research about the knowledge that you will do, and you will somehow and you will learn it. I
Like,
mean, it's
okay,
not like that project doesn't give you knowledge. You
like
can learn from it.
you have missed my point on this. I said that projects should just give you guys one part of this like subjects. Maybe today math, you guys learn about numbers, and in your test maybe you can gain numbers, more things, but in your projects it will just be numbers. It hasn't gained all of the knowledge that you have studied from that subjects. Next one, now I will continue. They also suggest that exams are sort of immerse stress and anxieties, and projects will create a more positive meaning of environments. However, this claim doesn't hold up because it simply replaces one form of pressures with another, and potentially a more demanding one. Projects, particularly those with high stakes, can just as, if not more, stressful than exams. They involve managing multiple deadlines, navigating complex group dynamics, and dealing with the pressure of a single large assessment that could determine a significant portion of student grade. This could lead to a different kind of anxiety, as students may struggle with projects manage skill or social pressure of group work. The all or nothing nature or single large projects can be far more daunting than series of smaller exams. So now I will continue our team case by presenting of our next three arguments. Our fourth argument is that exam provides an equitable and standardized metric for evaluating students' performance. The reason for this is that exams are designed to be an object measure that students knows and do under specific control conditions. They are standardized, meaning every student is aced on the same criteria under the same conditions. This allowed to fair and reliable comparisons, which are crucible for high-stake decisions like university admissions and employment. Replacing with theory-based objective standard with projects would introduce significant bias and subjectibilities. Projects assessments are often influenced by a system professionals' opinions, a student's communication skill, or even just somatic background, which can impact access to research or a project. For example, a student with a wealthy family will have access to expensive software, materials, or even professional tutoring, allowing them to produce a vital, stunning project that doesn't necessarily reflect an understanding of the subject matter. Exam, by contrast, level the playing field by testing knowledge and skill, not a student access to resource. Our fifth argument is that exams are necessary screening ground for adult life and professional success. The reason for this is many high-stakes situations in adulthood require abilities to perform under pressures and apply knowledge within strict time limits, such as an exam. We need to be able to recall information quick and apply it in real time. The skill requires things like job interviews, professional certifications, tests, and even emergency situations where quick, accurate decisions are critical. Exams are not just an assessment tool, they are vital training ground for developing the matter described. Focus and time managers skill need to success in the synchronous, replacing this with project-based work would often have flexible deadlines and can be conflict with excessive outside help. Our sixth argument is that replacing exam with projects could create unsustainable burden on teachers and education institutions. The reason for this is purely logical. Projects are required a significant amount of individuals' feedback, guidance, and assessment time for teachers. Evaluating detailed projects is far more time-consuming than a grand and standardized time with a clear marking rubric. So if a teachers have to manage a dozen, if not hundreds, or unique projects for each class, the work downward would be unmanageable. This is and will inevitably lead to decline the quality of feedback assessments or require massive increase in teaching staff, which not flexible for sustained solutions of most school systems. For example, a teacher might have 150 students across 5 classes, grading 115 projects with unique components would require thousands of hours work each year, far beyond the currently expected or possible. The result would be a system where teachers pass overwhelmed and students receive rushed, inadequate feedbacks, undertaking the very purpose of a project-based approach. So in conclusion, we have shown you that projects can be subjective and fail to test work knowledge, that exams are necessary skill for adult life, and that project-based system is logically unsustainable. My colleague, the first speaker, provides that exams provide an efficient and comprehensive assessment. They prepare students for real-world pressures, and they are fair, standard way to evaluate students. For these reasons, we stand firm in our belief that this motion should fail. As indicators, I have spoken and yield the floor. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for the great speech. Now, 1 minute for next speaker.
Okay, so my speech will start in 3, 2, 1. Albert Einstein once said, education is not the training, is not the learning of facts, but the training of mind to think. Projects change mind. Exam only test memory. You see, many schools, especially in Vietnam, just give students an outline of questions for exam and they just need to learn it by heart. How can it truly effective? Good day, esteemed judge and the fellow debaters. My name is Banana and I stand here as the third speaker from the proposition side. Today, our team stand here to support the motion, which is this how would replace exam with project in school. So, as the third speaker, I will summarize all of our team case. But before doing so, let me address the opponent side first. According to the first speaker from the negative side, he said that projects can create opportunity to students to cheat. However, it just depends on their awareness and each student responsibility. Even if they take exams, they can still cheat with many ways. Nothing can prevent them from those unfair thinking. So, as the second speaker from the negative side has said, she said that exams are the objective standard to measure students. However, While exams are intended to be objective under standardized conditions, they often fail to capture students' true ability and creativity. Many students perform poorly due to test anxiety or unfamiliarity with the exam format, not lack of knowledge. So let's move to my team agreement. Firstly, projects contain real-life skill. In the society nowadays, knowledge isn't enough. We need all life skills such as communications, collaborations, leaderships, and how to be confident in front of a majority of people. Projects, which means group working, growing plants, have experiments in lab, can develop your skill more perfect. A study in 2018 by Stanford University found that students who engage in project-based learning score 8% higher on problem-solving assessment than those in traditional exam-focused classroom. Project is more realistic and necessary in upcoming future. Students will have valuable preparations for the future. They develop perfectly and can be able to solve problems in any hard situations effectively. Moreover, they know how to improve their relationship, which broaden their opportunity to achieve success. Secondly, students now faced with many pressure come from school. They worry about their score. They suspect their ability. They learn negatively and uncomfortably. How can it become an effective learning method? Furthermore, what if they try to learn hard every day, but just because they are nervous, unconfident, and they are stressed too much with pressure to get high score, and this will lead to low consequences in tests and exam. Make students have anxiety, fear of failure, and always be self-doubt. If we replace those overwhelmed exam and tests by project, students can learn and work positively and also more effective. Their emotions can be balanced and no longer nervousness or depressions. For example, in this fast-paced world, many students have self-harm thoughts and even suicidal ideation, which create many heartbreaking deaths at young age. In addition, there's lots of students, teenagers who have mental health issues due to pressure of high school, families' expectations, social standards. However, projects like history, documentary, science explorations encourage them deep learning, have them to know which is their true passions and which they are like. Students will have the true chance to understand the lesson, not just therapy with many words in a book, which create boredoms and make students hard to really learn it. According to Organizations for Economic Operations and Development, 74% of employers believe that projects-based work in school better than develop critical thinking, collaborations, communication skill compared to exams. So, to conclude, projects reduce harmful stress and mental health issues. It also encourages deeper learning and improve real-life skill, which is truly essential for upcoming future.
Yeah,
Human
please.
doesn't. Yes, please.
Okay, so you said that doing projects, giving students projects and students doing projects would help them gain realistic knowledge, right?
Yes.
But I think that that's actually went wrong. What kind of knowledge that just stuck with one subject? For exams, I think that they also gained a lot of kinds of knowledge together. In that subject you learned. For projects, you have to maybe each math lessons or each time your teachers one, they will give you a project, each students one type of project, and they go home work, and maybe sometimes they just remember that one kind of projects. So what do you think of that?
I think if we replace exam by projects, the teacher can still teach the student the knowledge in the classroom and then just give them the project such as as the homework or assignment, and then they can like prepare and they can revise and review the lesson by the projects. So let's move to my conclusion. Human doesn't only need knowledge, they need skill to expand opportunity and become well-being overall, not just focus on one aspect. Just, we win this debate because our side best addresses the core questions. What evaluation system benefits students the most, both now and in the future? We also balance both student health and their preparations for students. Imagine your health isn't ensured, you're always tired and anxious. How can you learn those stressful knowledge and take exam effectively? Our team doesn't take the chance of students to improve knowledge. We still teach them and then just give them the project instead of stressful exam, which is more effective methods and ensure their health. Let's use the most effective methods that's suitable for students and better reflect their true potential. Distinguished judges and the fellow debater, I have spoken and I yield my time. Thanks for listening.
Okay, thank you for your speech. Now 1 minute for the last speaker of this debate.
Okay. Can I start my speech now?
Yes.
Okay, so my speech will start in 3, 2, 1. If grade or support to reflect what a student can do, then why do we keep assigning them with tests they can do easily get help on? Good morning, esteemed educator, and a pleasant greeting to the opposite team. My name is Truly, and I am the third and final speaker of the negative team on the motion. This is how we reflect exam with project in schools. My primary rule today is to provide final rebuttal to the opposition case and then to summarize our old team arguments. Let's start with the case point from the second speaker of the opposition. They try to argue that test only check how you memorize. This is the weak point because it's not true that exam only tests our memorize. Well-designed exam assign a range of skill, including analyze, application, problem solving, and critical thinking. For example, math and science exam often require students to apply concept a new situation. The first speaker also presents the idea exam new a centralized skill and turn collaboration, time management. This is simply not true because exam actually develop several exciting skills. They teach time management under stress, deadline, focus under pressure, and the ability to work independently. Skill highlight value in the workplace. Not all carry involving group collaboration. Now, let me recap our team's case. The first speaker introduced our three arguments, establishing the exam provide an equal and standard metric of evaluation student performances. Exam ensure fairness by involving all students under the same condition and critical, unlike subject grading method. The impact of this means students are the more likely to be judgment on their actual ability rather than subject opinion, creating a fair and more fair based on education system. According to 2023 OECD report, standardized exam reduced grading bias by up 35% compared to teaching assignment grades, and further showing that exams are a necessary training ground of adult life and professional success. Of 2021 likely workplace report found that 68% of employer value time management and straight-handing skill to a job hiring priority, both of which are proven through exam preparation and performances. The impact of this means exams go beyond measuring academic knowledge. They actively challenge students to the challenges of adult life and professional success. With such preparation, graduates being under pressure of competitive and demand work environment. And finally, demonstrating and reflect exam will project will create an unsuitable burden on teacher and educational institution. These points show the furthermore reflect the exam will project will create an unusual burden on teaching and education institution. Project require more time design, support, and grade. The impact of this is according to 2021 Education International Survey, teachers already spend 20 to 25% of the work week of learning and feedback. Replacing exam with project will significantly increase this workload, leading to burnout. Then my partner, the second speaker, built on this by showing the fairness and standardized exam, like every student under the exam, same condition, same question, same time limit, same marking schema. This creates a general basic on competition. According to 2022 UNESCO report, standardized exam can be reduced acceptable bias by 30%, making them a more reliable and equitable method of enrolling students perform regardless of schools. For example, for instance, in Vietnam, national high school graduate exam are students nationwide take the exam paper on the same day. The issue that a student in Hanoi and student in rural province are essential using identical critically. This point highlight the clear in project. It's difficult to ensure that the work is truly the student is all. Parent, tutor, or sleeping or AI tool can easily contribute significant part of the final flow if academic honesty and credibility. For example, in 2023, the UK regular Ofquer report a sharp rise in cases where students use AI to generate essay for coursework, making it hard to verify other efforts. For the impact of this is standardized exam taking under supervised condition, minimize the outside assessment and ensure the grades truly reflect the student individual ability and knowledge. This presents the credibility of academic qualification and maintain trust in the education system. Ultimately, this debate comes down to a clear choice. The opposition asks you to believe that this house would reflect exam with project in school. They all say that. Yes.
Can you explain that? How about the student who suffer and face from the test anxiety? How is the fairness ensured for them?
They can be fairness. Why? Because they are studying in the same grade, same school, same group, and also when they have tests, they have a like say they have a same day, same issue, same question, and they can be not cheat with each other. Why? Because like some of them will have some, for example, have two group, and what the group one will have the different, the second will have different, so they can be fairness with each other. Because for like for also some people are great in English, or some of the other in math or science, they can be have different issues and can make them can it can be fairness for them. So in conclusion, they say that exam be fair, exam is memory. They have they agree with the motion. This how would reflect exam will project in project. But we have shown you that it's simple, not a viable or descriptive world to live in. We have instead offered a model that, for this complete reason, we ask you to stand with us and support the motion educator I have spoken. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for all of your guys' speech. Now let me give me a few minutes to sum up your points and give feedback. Okay, I have finished my feedback and my point and the winning team best speaker summary that. So firstly, I'm going to give general feedback and then individual feedback, then the winning team and the best speaker. So this motion today is that this house would replace exam with projects in school. So what does this motion is about? So basically the motion proposes that instead of testing students through informal exam, like writing tests, multiple choice question, or time assessment, school should access the student by exciting project. These projects could be things like research paper, presentation, arts and science project. So group works or other creative assessment. So what are the key issues involved here? Firstly is assessment method. Secondly is student skill tests. And thirdly, fairness and objectively. Fourth, stress pressure. And finally, the key thing is practical skill versus theoretical knowledge. So these are the key parts that you guys need to basically just put in your speech. So that is a basic thing. So the basic thing that you guys improve is firstly teamwork. So when I'm testing each team on the proposition time, mostly they only didn't really discuss about their arguments or the ideas. Mostly work individually or through chats, which is a bad thing. In reality, you need to discuss what your argument is instead of just sending multiple arguments in the chat, which make this not engaging in the debate. So firstly, you need to talk or discuss about what is your argument, what it's about for the third speaker to analyze, to understand, and to summarize, or to make clashes as well. Moving on to a next thing you need to improve is QI. Mostly is point of information. Mostly about 3 or 4 people have give PYs. So we need to engage more, like each speaker say about 2 or 3 PYs to accept it and to answer this PY or to give. So those are the main thing that you need. The second thing, the third thing is to your time management. A lot of you talk only for 6 minutes or 5 minutes, but you need about 7 to 8 minutes is the maximum kind of time. So you need to input those 3 things. Firstly, teamwork, secondly, PYs, and thirdly, time management. For individual feedback, first speaker of proposition, Lucas. So firstly, for strategy in your speech, you have logical speech, you have definition, stakeholder, team introduction or team line, and also accept as well as answer PY. But the thing is that you need to prove to me what is the burden of proof. So for the content is that you have strong hooks, as I said before, you have great points, realistic examples, statistics, and studies. For your presentation, you have some pretty good strength and area improvement. Firstly, it's a pretty great firm voice, a clear body language, but not so fluency in some part. Area improvement is a verbal repetition and fillers, and you have too much pauses, read on paper too much. Well, each of your affirmative teamwork is kind of like most of you only individually or through chat, which is kind of like a bad thing. For second speaker, Lisa, you have well-structured speech, have rebuttal. For area improvement in your speech, you need to add signposting. So signposting extend the first speaker. So after the first speaker has presented his speech, you need to extend, which talk more about it and why his argument is matter in your team. First thing is ordinary introduction. You have strong rebuttals, but for the rebuttal stuff in each speaker, you need to like, what is your rebuttal? Firstly, what the other team says, what they did wrong, and why their argument is not valid or not vulnerable, or is it bad and not beneficial for for all stakeholders. So that is one thing that you make your rebuttal much stronger. For strength here is a pretty great pronunciation, clear body language, and avoid repetition filters like a first speaker. You need to add more eye contact, too much pauses, and clearer voice. Another thing is that the framing. For the third speaker, banana, you have both structured speech has rebuttal, but I said before, rebuttal need too much. You need to add more rebuttal. So for the sub speaker, the thing that you need to improve, there's something improvement is you have clear signposting. You need to ask what is your clashes. Third speaker needs most important thing for third speaker for me is that for clashes. So clashes would mean what is it like what thing versus something, and yeah, to what thing like ask a question for the other team, or clashes usually just like what thing versus something. So for example, third speaker, the clashes can be like practical skill versus theoretical knowledge. So that is one clashes that's effective. You also need to get weighing and compare things. So weighing both team and compare both team and showing why your teams properly win. For a negative team for speaker, you have well-structured speech. You did have definition, have stakeholder team instruction, but I think is you need to build in proof, and you did accept and answers and PYs. Obviously, you have engaging introduction, strong rebuttals, points, realistic example, statistics and studies. You have strong key point and showing why team wins, but yeah, you do have really strong rebuttals. For area improvement is some incorrect phrases, some grammar sticks, and reading too much. For second speaker, you did a really great job. For second speaker of negative Charlotte, you have very good art rebuttals, but need more. You need to framing the extension of the first speaker. After the first speaker has present his speech, you need to extend the points, extend why his argument is matter most in your team and why it's valid, and yeah, just about the other team why the argument is not true, not correct, or not valid in this case. For your strength is that emotional tones, voices. You have body language, great body language, but you kind of like need fit the for your hand gesture and body language. It need to be fit in what you're saying, so it can your presentation can be more engaging and more so the audience or the judges will persuade your speech. For the last bit of the debate is Julie. You have well structured speech. You have rebuttal. But like the third speaker of the other team, you do need clashes, weighing and comparing and showing why your teams matter most. Your team wins this debate. So you do have accept and answer PYs. Yes, Banana?
Sorry, but I think I have the weighing at last. Like I said, my team will win.
That's not actually how wings works.
Okay.
Uh, so okay, for Julie, area improvement is avoid unnecessary pauses. You have some pronunciation struggles and mispronounce some words, which is quite hard to hear in some part. So that is for individual feedback. So do you guys want winning team first or best speaker first?
I think the winning team first.
So the winning team for today has shown me some of the most key important part. The teams that show me what is like the key issues involving this debate. Is assessment method, student skill test, fairness, objectively, trust, pressure, and practical skill versus therapy knowledge. So the team that have shown me this mostly is the negative team. So the negative team mostly have shown me and showing why the team has won this debate. So the winning team is, yeah, mostly negative. But best speaker for this debate is for negative team is Charlotte, and the best speaker for affirmative team is Alisa. Any question? Do you guys want individual point and total point of the team?
Yes, please.
Okay, so for affirmative team, for speaker Lucas have 69.5. Second speaker affirmative Alisa have 75. Third speaker Banana have 70 points. Negative team first speaker have 76. Second speaker for negative 85, and third speaker 83. Yeah. And the total score for affirmative is 240.5. For negative team is 239. Yeah, that is a point. Any other question regardless of feedback and stuff like that? Any question?
No, I think no.
Okay, so thank you for participating in this debate and goodbye.
Goodbye. Thanks for your feedback.